All right. So in the previous lesson, we talked about two-step equations. And these are also two-step equations, but exceptions. You're going to be able to recognize these, okay? And the reason why they're called exceptions is because on the last lesson, I told you that the two steps would be to add or subtract to cancel first, right? And the second step would be to multiply or divide to cancel after. For example, let's say that we have something like x over 2 plus 5 equals to 3. Let's keep it simple, okay? Right? Actually, that's not simple. Let's make it 7. Let's make it 8. Sorry. All right, 8. I'm done changing the numbers. So again, because adding and subtracting is first, we would cancel the 5, right? And then we would go ahead and after that multiply by 2. And I'll show you the full problem in just a second, but that's normally what we would do. Now check out this problem that is very similar. X plus 5, just like the other one, divided by 2, just like the other one, equals to 8, right? But what is the main difference between these two problems that look almost the same? Hopefully you noticed that the division sign here is only above the 2 or only below the x, while here is below the x minus 5. And there's a huge difference between the way we solve these two problems, and you need to know how what the difference is, okay? Here, the 5 is not trapped by the 2, only the x is. So then the 5 is like, hey, I'm free to be canceled. So we will go ahead and take care of that, right? You get 5 minus 5 is 0. X over 2 equals to 3, right? So we take care of the first step. Now we got to take care of the second step, which is to multiply by 2, right? Because that's what we got to do. We got to multiply by 2. So first one, we subtract it by 5 and then multiply by 2. Now, that is not what we can do here. We cannot subtract 5 because the 5 is trapped by the division sign. So unlike this one's, the first step is to cancel the division. By multiplication, okay? That's the first thing you gotta do. You gotta cancel these 2 first and then the 5 after, unlike this other problem. So we are gonna go ahead and multiply by 2 here, multiply by 2 here. And so then the 2's cancel. Then I got x plus 5 equals to 16. Aha. Now the 5 is free to be canceled. So that's what we're going to do as our second step. Add or subtract to cancel. So this is why it's called a exemption, because the sequence in which you cancel the numbers are different. So now I can go ahead and, now I can go ahead and subtract. Subtract by 5. And you'll notice that we get 2 different answers because you solve it 2 different ways. Okay, and they're not the same problem. These problems are not the same. So again, be very careful to notice if there is a long fraction line. Okay, if there's a long fraction line, that means that you got to cancel the denominator first by multiplication. Okay. So go ahead and give it a try. Let me put some negative numbers in it. Okay, and then let's put the x's on the other side. So negative, let's go with negative 10 equals to x minus 3 divided by x minus 5. Hopefully you paused the video, you solved it, and now you can see whether you did it right or not. Again, I cannot cancel the adding and subtracting first. I gotta cancel the division. And how do I cancel division? By multiplication of the exact same number. Right? It's not going to be positive 5. It's going to be negative times a negative gives me a positive. Right? Besides, those are gone. And over here, negative 5 times negative 10 gives me positive 50. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel by adding because this is a subtraction relationship. Right? It's a subtraction relationship. So the solution is addition. So we end up with x equals to 53. It's your final answer. Okay. Now, let me show you another one that involves or may not involve distribution. You have two options for this problem. Okay. Two options for, well, yeah, it's two options. One requires 3 steps, one requires 2 steps. Okay. So let me see if I can come up with a problem real quick. Example number 1, 5 parentheses x minus 4 equals to negative 70. I know, why are these numbers so big? Don't worry. It's all right. You'll be all right. So a couple of things. You could distribute first. That's the long way. Okay. Distribute. Let me actually write that. Yeah, let me just keep it there. Distribute first. That requires 3 steps to solve this, and I will not go over that. I'll go over it later, but not right now. Okay, so distribution. Instead, I will go ahead and do this option. Better option. You have 5 parentheses x minus 4 equals to negative 70. Now, you understand that the 5 has a relationship with them, and that is a multiplication relationship. Okay, that's what distribution is. Distribution means multiplication. 5 times x, 5 times negative 4. It's a multiplication relationship. Well, what's the solution to a multiplication relationship? The solution would be division. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and divide the whole thing by 5. I'm going to divide the whole thing by 5. When I do that, I can go ahead and cancel out the 5s. I end up with x minus 4 equals to negative 14. 70 divided by 5 is 14. Negative divided by positive is negative. Okay. Let's see here. Now that the 4 is free, I can go ahead and add 4 on both sides. X equals to negative 10 is my final answer. Now, please do not confuse 5 times x minus 4 equals to negative 70 with 5x minus 4 equals to negative 70. Okay. And you notice that the difference is the parentheses. This one has parentheses. This one doesn't have parentheses. right? Here, again, what do? We divide it by 5. But here, I would go ahead and add 4 first, and then I would divide by 5 later. Okay. So hopefully you know the difference there. Let me give you a problem that you can solve on your own. And then I'll show you the answer. Okay. Negative parentheses 3 plus x equals to -7. Hopefully you paused the video, you already tried it. I'll show you the example. Now, this is just like the other one. It's just like this one, right? But instead of a 5 in front, there is a, that's right, -1 is invisible. Be very careful with that. So I'm going to cancel that -1. I'm going to go ahead and divide by -1. Because negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. Right here, same thing, gives me positive. Now I can go ahead and subtract the 3. And I get 4 as my final answer. Again, use all the colors and highlighters that you need in order to make the notes visible and easily readable. Okay. And that is it for the two-step equation exemption. Okay, so watch out for those 2 types of problems that you would see in your homework, whether it be x plus 5 over 2 equals to 13, or you might see 2x plus 5 equals to 13. Okay, so definitely, oh, that doesn't work. It would have to be like 14 or something. Yep, that works. Okay, so in both of these situations, we multiply or divide to cancel as our first step. So that is the key, that you understand what is your first step in these 2 types of problems, right? Hopefully that's not too difficult, and let's get to work.